We are on to APES Review Worksheet 6. Looking at some of the common substances, I think the arrows are kind of confusing, so I just went ahead and listed it at the bottom. But looking at the pH scale, so just a reminder that 1 would be most acidic, 7 would be neutral, 14 would be the most basic. So orange juice is acidic at about a 3.3. Ammonia is our sort of classic base at 11.6. Sulfuric acid is a really strong acid, 2.75. So you see, how close orange juice and sulfuric acid are because it's a base 10 scale. Human blood is a little bit basic at 7.35. Normal rain is always a little bit acidic at 5.5, and that's because there's always carbon dioxide in regular air, and it's going to make that carbonic acid, which is a little bit of a weak acid. Calcium carbonate has a pH of 9.91, so a little bit basic, but truly acidic rain, which either has sulfuric or nitric acid in it, is going to have a pH of 4. Explain what evapotranspiration is and why it's significant. It's the process by which water is transferred from land to the atmosphere by evaporation from the soil and other surfaces by transpiration from plants. The significance is that it's responsible for 10% of the atmospheric water vapor. So this is that plants giving off water vapor. What is different about growing plants hydroponically? Hydroponics is the process of growing plants in sand, gravel, or liquid with added nutrients, but without soil. Many times it's grown above fish tanks because the fish can provide the nutrients through their waste for the plants. Write a series of chemical reactions. We just see one chemical reaction that leads to the formation of tropospheric ozone, bad ozone, in photochemical smog. So it's NOx plus VOx plus sunlight, which gives us ozone, which is O3. The acronym POP refers to persistent organic pollutants, which is organic compounds that are resistant to environmental degradation, meaning they don't break down. POPs biomagnify. Examples are pesticides, and they are regulated by the Stockholm Convention. Explain what a watershed is and why it's important. It's land area that delivers water, sediment, and dissolved substances via small streams to a major stream or water. One of the famous ones is the Chesapeake River watershed. There's the Delaware River watershed. What are all the streams that flow into the Delaware? There's 2 environmental benefits of wetlands. They can be used for flood control or as a natural filter to purify and clean water. Explain how electricity is produced by a dam. You have to have some sort of reservoir. You have an intake. In that intake, you allow that water to come in, turns that turbine to power a generator, which is going to give us the electricity, and then the water heads down to the river. Note that quite a bit of sediment can usually build up behind these dams. There's 4 characteristics that result in waste being classified as hazardous. In order to be hazardous, it's either poisonous, it's chemically reactive, it can be corrosive, or flammable. Explain what an El Nino event is and why it is significant. El Nino occurs approximately every 3 to 7 years, so it's not regular. In the Pacific Ocean, off South America, normally the trade winds push warm surface waters away from South America, which promotes upwelling and that nice cool water. So we have it's highly oxygenated. But in an El Nino years, the trade winds weaken or even reverse, and the warm water stays along South America. What is a wet scrubber and how does it work? It's a device that removes pollutants from a gas stream like a furnace flue or from a power plant. The gas stream or the gas that's being produced is brought into contact with the scrubbing liquid, which captures them in liquid droplets, and then that final liquid must be treated before it is released. So it's a sort of a fan and scrubbing thing that allows those particles that are in that steam to be recollected. What is an electrostatic precipitator and how does that work? That's another air pollution control device. Particles are given a negative charge and then they are attracted to a positively charged plate, and then that plate is collected for disposal. That's a lot of times also in smokestacks. So you'll have this electrostatic precipitator, and you can see very clear images about when that precipitator is on and when that precipitator is off. Chemical reactions that lead to the formation of acid rain, we either have sulfur, so SO3 plus H2SO plus H2O plus water in the air is going to give us sulfuric acid, H2SO4, or we're going to have nitrogen compounds plus water, which is going to give us HNO3, which is nitric acid. Kwashiorkor is a life-threatening and debilitating form of malnutrition. It's caused by a lack of protein in the diet. It's commonly seen in low and lower middle income regions facing famine. It's typically known for that extremely emaciated appearance in all the body parts except for ankles, feet, and the belly, which swell with fluid. So it has a very distinct look about it. And it's a specific form of malnutrition that's linked to a lack of protein. This is different from marasmus, which is the most common form of acute malnutrition and can very quickly lead to death. It's characterized by a severe wasting of fat and muscle in which the body breaks it down to make energy. So that's just acute overall malnutrition. If the cost of gas is $3.50 per gallon and the average gas mileage of a car is 25 miles per gallon, the cost of driving the car per mile would be two different ways to write 14 cents per mile. So $3.50 per gallon is 25 miles per 1 gallon, which will give us 14 cents per mile. And another way to write that is 14 cents per mile. And our last one, the acronym NIMBY, refers to not in my backyard, which is an opposition by residents to a proposal for a new development because it's too close to them, even though it's needed by society. Yes, we need a landfill, not in my backyard. Yes, we need a power plant, not by me. Yes, we need a sewage treatment plant, not in my backyard.